Good afternoon. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our processional song, Enter Rejoicing, Come In, Ven Men Alegrate Hoy. The words are in your program and also on the screen. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
A bit of housekeeping as we begin. Please, if you would, take out your phone. I'm going to wait. Take out your phone and make sure that it is on silent worship mode. Bathrooms are located in the building that you passed on your way here, just to the left as you exit the meeting house. And the reception later will start out in that same building in Bard Hall, and then we'll spill out onto the patio as we break into dancing in celebration of this happy day. Good afternoon. I am the Reverend Justine Sullivan. My pronouns are she and her, and I have the joy of serving this congregation alongside the Reverend Kristen Kuriga, and it is my honor to welcome you here. You can applaud if you wish. Never suppress applause. That's one of them. Welcome to those of you who are here in this meeting house and to those of you joining us online from places far and wide. Honored clergy guests, beloved family and friends, and of course, cherished members and friends of First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego. Welcome to this beautiful day when we get to celebrate the blessing of shared ministry with one who heard and answered her call to ministry in this very place and then returned, full of new ideas and energy and great gifts, and with a deep and abiding love for this community of faith, and believing that together we can continue to help make this aching world more generous, more just, and more loving. Welcome all.
For the Gifts That Have Come Home by Jan Richardson. Praise for this day. Praise for the paths that have carried us here. Praise for the hands that have made a way, for the hearts that have opened, for the gifts that have come home.
Praise for this hour when we choose to say, we see you. When we rejoice to say, we recognize you. When we dare to say, we call you here. We welcome you here. We bless you here.
Praise for this moment when we stand with you. Praise for this threshold that opens to us. Praise for the mystery that makes itself known in vision, in dream, in prayer, in grace, in the love that has led us and called us by name.
Good morning, friends, except it's afternoon, friends. So I would like to invite any of the children or youth and any adults who like to dance to come up and join me for our time for all ages. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, I love the costumes. Oh, we're going to start on the ground, and then I'll move us around for the dance mix. How you doing? Whoa, I love the costumes. Hi, there's some spot over here too if you want to get a little. Oh, you know Esther. Hi, come, you can sit here if you want. You can also sit down on the ground. We're going to just sit for a little bit and then we're going to move. So today, if you didn't notice from the slides and all the beautiful flowers up here, one of the themes that we're thinking about is gardening. So for our time for all ages, I would like to do what I'm calling a gardening groove. So I'm going to get us involved with our bodies in a minute, but first, I just wonder if we could think about, if you've ever planted a garden or been in a garden, what are some of the steps you think are involved in planting and taking care of a garden? Anybody think of an answer? Oh, yeah? What do you think? What do you have to do? Yeah, what do you have to do?
First of all, probably you have to plan where you're going to put the garden.
Oh.
And then decide what flowers or plants you want. Then you have to know how much space each plant or seed takes. And then you have to water it. Depends what plant you're using or seed. And then you're supposed to wait for it to grow.
Whoa, that was very comprehensive. And there's so much that we don't have time for me to unpack all of that, but there's so much there that you can think about metaphor for our community, right? Planning a place to go, choosing what space they need, what kind of nurturing and tending it needs. And then there's a lot of waiting involved, right? You wait for it to grow. So I have some steps that I thought we could think about in terms of how to plant a garden. So here's what we're going to do. Those of us who are able, we're going to stand up. And if you would like to stand up out there too, you are welcome to stand up and join us. If you're going to sit down, I also have a rhythm section for you in a minute. And so these are the steps of our dance. It's up there, and it's down here. So these are just some steps that I thought I could come up with. So let's practice them first, and then I'll explain how we're going to do the whole thing. So first, we're going to dig a hole. So you need your shovel, and we're going to try and do it in rhythm. You're going to dig a hole, and dig the hole. Two more. Dig the hole. Oh, that's good. Dig the hole. Oh, good. Then we're going to scatter the seeds. Sometimes you plant specific seeds. This time we're just going to scatter them and let the wind take them where they will. So we'll do it like this. Scatter the seeds. Scatter the seeds. Scatter the seeds. Oh, that's really good. Then we're do some water and rain. Sometimes we do the watering, and sometimes nature does the watering. So we're going to start with a watering can, and we're going to water and rain, and water and rain. Two more. Water and rain, and water and rain. You might guess the next one. I want to make sure I don't knock the microphone over. We're going to pull the weeds. Pull the weeds. Oh, good. Pull the weeds. Pull the weeds. And then some plants need to be pollinated, right? They need some help from the insect community or the bird community or the bat community. Somebody said bats are pollinators, right? So we're going to flap our wings, and we're going to flutter and fly, and flutter and fly, and flutter and fly, and flutter and fly. And then the last part, we've done all the work we can. We just have to wait and watch, and wait and watch, and wait and wait. You got it, you got it. All right, so now comes the fun part. We're gonna add a little beat, and then we're gonna go right from the beginning from Dig a Hole. We'll do each one 4 times, just like we did. If you would like to add a rhythm, you can stomp, clap for us. And Aaron's gonna add some professional rhythm to us too. All right, ready, here we go. Let's tend our garden, get your shovel. And we'll dig a hole, and dig a hole, and dig a hole, and dig a hole. Let's scatter the seeds, and scatter the seeds, and scatter the seeds, and scatter the seeds, and scatter the water and rain, and water and rain, and water and rain, and water and rain. And then we pull the weeds, pull the weeds, pull the weeds, and pull the weeds. Pollinators flutter and fly, and flutter and fly, and flutter and fly, and flutter and fly, and finally wait and watch, and wait, ooh, and watch, and wait and watch. And wait and watch. Nice job, man. Whoa, you all are amazing. I had no idea how that was going to go over. So thank you, friends. Thank you. And now, things are a little bit different today. Friends, I'm going to invite all of us who would like to go to childcare. We're going to walk to the back and meet the childcare workers and head down to 113 where there's lots of toys and a sandbox and even a garden if you want to go out and check out the garden.
In her book, Braiding Sweetgrass, Robin Wall Kimmerer tells of the ancient practice of planting 3 seeds together in a square-foot mound of soil. She calls this the way of the 3 sisters. Corn is the first to sprout and grow. It sends up a slender white stalk that turns green in the light, a single thin leaf that will unfurl to be joined by others as the stalk grows. The sound of one voice. After a time, the bean seed breaks open and sends down roots. Only when it is secured will the stem bend into a hook and poke up through the soil. It will find the light and throw off the seed hull that nurtured it, opening its 2 leaves to the sun. The sound of voices, too. Much later, sometimes weeks later, the squash seed breaks open and sends up small green shoots opening to large green leaves. The sound of voices, 3. Over time, the corn grows quickly, tall and strong and straight. It puts its energy into a strong stem, unfurling long leaves as it grows. The bean focuses on leaf growth first, forming heart-shaped leaves close to the ground. And then, when the corn is about a foot tall, the bean plant sends out one long vine until it finds the corn stem and snakes its way up the stem as it grows more leaves. Meanwhile, the squash plant extends itself out along the ground. Their broad leaves and thick vines are bristly, meant to turn away caterpillars who want to nibble on the fresh green shoots. The squash leaves and vines cover the mound, keeping moisture in and keeping other plants out. Now, if this were my garden, off to the side of the mound of the 3 sisters, there would be at least a few volunteer tomato plants. They would be coming up from the seeds left by rotting cherry tomatoes that we didn't quite find during the cleanup the fall before. There would be the start of at least a few blackberry vines, which is an invasive species in the Pacific Northwest, whose seeds are spread everywhere by the birds. There would be at least one start of a small tree from a nut or a seed that was buried in the garden bed by a squirrel. And there would be some strawberry runners from the bed next door that were working for a place to put down their roots. And that, my friends, that is the sound of all of us. That riot of color, shapes, and sizes, many plants and species, some planned and some not. A garden full of life, making a joyful noise. As we gather today to celebrate the installation of the Reverend Kristen Kuriga as your associate minister, you've chosen the theme of the joy of shared ministry. And the garden is such a beautiful and apt metaphor for the shared ministry of a congregation. I'm not surprised that Reverend Kristen chose this image, not only because of her love of gardening and growing things, but because of her call to ministry and her commitment to community. Shared ministry isn't a new idea. In reality, it is an ancient idea that we seem to be rediscovering. That early Christian church immediately after Jesus' death was based on the priesthood of all believers. It was informal, non-hierarchical, egalitarian, and countercultural. For example, it included women in positions of leadership in a culture where women had little or no power or authority. The early church, the early Christian church, was based on the model and the idea that everyone had gifts to share, and they were called to contribute those gifts to the larger mission of spreading the word of their teacher. And over time, the egalitarianism of the church was replaced by hierarchies, and those with power made many doctrinal decisions, including putting priests between the divine and the people. But in 1517, the priest Martin Luther railed against the Catholic Church, where priests had exclusive access to the holy, and some granted access to God by selling indulgences. The roots of Unitarianism are buried deep in the fertile soil of the Protestant Reformation that was started by Luther. From the very beginning, Unitarians rejected the idea that clergy were above everyone else and that only clergy had direct access to the divine. We still do. We are a denomination that empowers people and congregations. This is part of our history, and pulling the threads of history leads to a discussion about leadership and ministerial authority. Unitarian Universalists believe that the ministries of a congregation do not belong only to the ministers, they belong to everyone. The ministries that you share are based in the idea that everyone has gifts and it is invited to the table to share their gifts. It takes different gifts to do the work that our faith communities are called to do. Some of us are called to create worship. Others feel called to teach. Some are called to welcome. Others to plan. Some of us do justice work, and others feed people. And some of us commit to a vocation of ministry, bringing our unique gifts and share them in the mix. Shared ministry is a calling of all people. When we share our gifts, we affirm our interdependence as we come together in service to our mission. I believe that shared ministry is important because it is not only part of our heritage, it is part of our future. This model for being together opens us to ask some of our biggest spiritual questions. Who are we? Why are we here? These are questions about mission and purpose. And shared ministry also calls us to ask what I think is one of our most pressing and urgent spiritual questions. Given that we are all connected, how are we to live and thrive together? When we share ministry, we may not always agree. We may not always think alike. We may hold different beliefs. It is definitely easier to be in relationship when we agree. The real test of a community is how we are together in relationship when we disagree. This question is crucial as we grapple in our time with the violence of war and the refugees who are fleeing, as we struggle to combat authoritarianism in our country and around the world, as we seek to care for those who are most impacted by the destruction of our social supports, the implementation of harmful and inhumane laws, and the deterioration of our environment. At this moment in history, wrestling with this question of how we are to be together isn't an intellectual exercise. It is essential to our survival as a nation, as a species, and as a world. Shared ministry is an invitation that we both offer and accept. It invites us each to be vulnerable, to open our minds, hearts, and hands to different ways of thinking, doing, and being. It invites us to explore and express who we are and why we are here. It is an invitation to be in relationship even when it's hard and we don't agree. When we each bring our gifts in the process of transforming the world, we too are transformed. This is a lesson I learn over and over again as I grow and experience Spirit. Each time, I am reminded that our individualistic culture doesn't serve us very well and doesn't serve this world. Each time, I deepen the spiritual practices of open-heartedness and grace. And each time, I am filled with awe and wonder at all that we can do and be when we are together. Shared ministry is an invitation for all of us to be of service. You might be the corn, tall and strong for others to lean on. You might be the beans, sending up vines and enriching the soil. You might be the squash, helping to protect what is newly growing. Or you might be the unexpected seeds that pop up, the ones that we didn't even know we needed. In my experience, ministers have skills and abilities that make us more inclined to be corn or beans or squash or the surprise. And I have also learned that sometimes ministers must shape-shift to be what is needed, which can sometimes be challenging. And sometimes it's easy, comes with ease. So as you continue your shared ministry together, I encourage you to explore your own gifts and also examine the gifts that you expect of Reverend Kristen. I have learned that the magic of shape-shifting is possible, and every magician needs some help and some rest. Robin Wall Kimmerer writes, "Of all the wise teachers who have come into my life, none are more eloquent than these, who wordlessly in leaf and vine embody the knowledge of relationship. Alone, a bean is just a vine, squash an oversized leaf. Only when standing together with corn does the whole emerge, which transcends the individual. The gifts of each are more fully expressed when they are nurtured together than alone. In ripe ears and swelling fruit, they counsel us that all gifts are multiplied in relationship. This is how the world keeps going." A service of installation is both a solemn and a joyous occasion. The promises that you make to each other today is the container that holds you as you do the important work of this congregation. And you do this work together. I believe that what is as important as the promises you make today is your efforts to live into those promises in the future. No one can promise that there won't be different opinions or uncertainty. You can promise to stay in relationship as you work things out. Unitarian Universalism is a faith tradition built not on creed but on covenant. We don't tell each other what to believe, we make promises about how we will be together. Today, you and Reverend Kristen will speak your covenant, making promises to each other. This service of installation is the spiritual act that recognizes the covenant between you. So as we move toward this joyous and sacred act of covenanting, I invite you to look around right now. Look around. These are some of your companions in the work of transformation. Corn and beans and squash and surprises. And as you look around, I invite you to say out loud, a whisper to a shout, "You are not alone. You are not alone." And I invite you to look around and say, "We are better together. We are better together." And let's say those phrases a few times. You are not alone. We are better together. Again, you are not alone. We are better together. One more time. You are not alone. We are better together. May your shared ministry be filled with joy, commitment, and love. Amen.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join me in singing Joy in the Morning.
You sound amazing. Let us enter into a time of meditation and prayer. If it's comfortable for you to do so, I invite you to close your eyes or perhaps soften your gaze and look at the chalice. Let's take some long, slow breaths together in and out, and in and out. Continuing to breathe together all around us, all around the world. People are breathing in and breathing out. Spirit of life and love, Holy One of 1,000 names and of no name. Sometimes it feels hard to sing about joy in the morning, or love all around us, or hope in our future, because the world contains so much hatred and fear and violence and greed. But we know, beloveds, that we cannot dwell there. We need joy, and we need one another, and we need love to find the strength to do the ministries that we are all called to. May we find that strength in each other. May we find that hope in our children. May we remember that there is love all around us. And may the people say, Amen.
We gathered today to install Reverend Kristen Kuriga as the Associate Minister of First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego. The act of installation symbolizes the covenant between the people of this congregation and the minister they have chosen to serve them. Kristen, we already know each other. You sat with us when things were hard and joined us in celebrating so many joys. So today is less a beginning than a deepening. We've seen your gifts at work, and we are grateful you have chosen to be here with us. Will the members of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego please rise in body or spirit and say with me the words in the order of service so that we may affirm our call to Reverend Kristen. We receive you with open hearts. We promise to walk alongside you with honesty, sharing our truths with care and welcoming yours in return. We will listen deeply, not only to your words, but to the wisdom and vision you carry. We will work together with you, sharing the work and joy of building this beloved community, because the ministry we do here belongs to all of us. We commit to joining you in the difficult work of justice, bringing our voices, our hands, and our hearts to the struggles beyond these walls. We pledge to extend to you the grace we know you will extend to us, grace for the uncertain moments, for the hard times, and for the times when we fall short of who we want to be. We want to be lovingly challenged by your ministry, knowing that growth can sometimes be uncomfortable. We will honor your full and authentic self in this pulpit and in this community. We look forward to what we will create and discover together in ways we cannot yet imagine. Reverend Kristen, are you ready to enter into this covenant with us as our called and settled minister?
With gratitude and joy, honored by the trust you place in me, I wholeheartedly enter into this covenant of shared ministry. I commit to serve as your minister to the best of my abilities. I will seek to be present and caring and trustworthy, to offer loving challenge when you need it. In a spirit of collaboration, I will work alongside you to help fulfill our mission and to make real our vision of beloved community. I look forward to learning and creating and playing alongside you in a spirit of joy.
And now we make it official. Members, we, the members of First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego, do hereby install you, Reverend Kristen Kuriga, as the Associate Minister of our congregation. Will all who have not yet risen, colleagues, family, friends, please rise and body your spirit to offer a blessing. We celebrate the beginning of this shared ministry. May the congregation and the minister be blessed with wisdom, compassion, and strength for the journey ahead. May this ministry thrive.
catch my breath. Beautiful. Kristen, there will be no other day like today. So I'm going to invite you to take another moment to look around, to soak in the beauty and joy and love that you and so many of your beloveds, your family, friends, congregants, colleagues have brought, not only to make this day special, but to help you find your way here, back home. You've been in ministry a while now, and you've learned a lot about what it takes and what it requires of you to maintain yourself, your health, your inner spark, your joy, and not burn out, especially right now when the world so dearly needs all of us in this work of our faith. So this charge does not offer any new revelatory wisdom. Rather, I hope it serves as a reminder to you of what is important in this work, to keep your heart and spirit open and keep connected to your call, to fill a well you can return to be fed when this work and this world feels impossible. You have already named ministry as a shared endeavor. You've made it the central theme for this service today. So you know successful ministries require the care and love and faith of many voices, hearts, and hands. I know you are one of the exemplars among us for what shared ministry looks like. I charge you to keep leaning into that part of your call that reminds you to invite others on this journey with you, to expand your faith and deepen your spiritual journey and theirs in community. If these times have shown us anything, it's that we need community now more than ever. We need each other to survive. You have a particular gift for drawing people in and creating connection. I charge you to keep cultivating that gift. Keep being that beacon of radical welcome for others in a world that tells us we are better off going it alone. And remember, you need community and care too. When you feel lost and weary and like you don't know what you're doing, which happens to all of us no matter how long we have been in this vocation, I charge you to surround yourself with trusted advisors, with colleagues of all kinds, some of whom are sitting right next to you today, with those to whom you can spill your soul and hear them when they speak the truth. And this means you will have to prioritize taking time away from this work for study, for collegial connection, and sometimes, as I'm sure you know, that will feel impossible. Like there is no time in your busy schedule. Do it anyway. Because it is in precisely those times when you need it most. And it will only feed your ministry and make it even stronger. And then there is this part of the call that is just about you. And I charge you to tend to that part of the call. This ministry, this work of ministry, involves an extraordinary balancing act, an integration of work and family and self and life that none of us, let me repeat, none of us has mastered. Remember the vows you took as spouse and mother. Come before the vows you take today. Your call is not theirs, no matter how connected and devoted to this faith they may be and how excited they were for this service today. They have already made sacrifices. They will continue to sometimes set aside their own needs so that you can serve the needs of others. So I charge you to be willing to say no sometimes to your own work, to your own high expectations so that you can say yes to your family. They will thank you, and you will thank yourself. I charge you to prioritize yourself, your body, your heart, your mind and spirit. Your health matters just as much as those to whom you offer pastoral care. We ministers, we talk a good game about self-care, but we do not always practice it well, and neither do our people. Break away from the pack, my friend. Be the model we all need. Be honest with yourself and listen to your body. You have become very good at that when it tells you to slow down and rest. In this moment of rising fascism and a world on fire, remember this is a long game. One of the tactics of authoritarianism is exhaustion and overwhelm. So heed those powerful words from the Nap Bishop herself, Reverend Tricia Hersey: rest is resistance. Kristen, you have a heart for justice. It is what called you here to San Diego, to this work. I charge you to let justice be your guide, to keep that flame alive. And as you well know and already model, this will mean using your privilege whenever and wherever you can, whether as a rallying cry, as a shield for others in harm's way, or as a path to repair. And to do all that while you are ensuring that we center the voices of those on the margins to lead the work and name what is needed, and support those in your ministry to understand their own place in this interconnected web, and to keep learning and growing. I charge you to keep naming our collective commitments to justice boldly, powerfully, out loud, so that we will never forget them. And I say this as the human who hails from a deeply red state. We need to keep saying them together. We need all of us in this journey towards justice, affirming our commitments to diversity, equity, and inclusion, to immigrant justice where love knows no borders, to racial justice where Black lives matter and we dismantle systems of white supremacy, to being a faith where queer lives matter and trans rights are human rights, where we protect our trans beloveds and especially our trans kids, where reproductive justice says abortion is healthcare. Our commitments to collective liberation, where all people are welcome and embraced to flourish and thrive. Our commitment to holding love at the center of all we do. And finally, Kristen, I charge you to remember the other theme for today's installation: joy. Joy lives everywhere, even when it is hard to find. Seek it out, celebrate it. Keep being silly and keep laughing and keep dancing with the kids and keep taking those tap dancing lessons. Be the joy for others, which is the best of your Enneagram 7 self. Help us notice it, name it, welcome it in, celebrate it. Let it be the foundation of all you do in ministry and life. Never stop saying today will be a joyful day. Never stop asking, how can we keep from singing? Kristen, my beloved friend, colleague, and fellow mom, this congregation is beyond blessed to have you as a minister. May you continue to bless each other in joy and justice, in spirit and song, in care and love for many years to come.
Greetings. Hey-o! What a lovely day, and how glad I am to be here. And I'm here to ask you to honor today by giving a special gift. Folks, I'm talking about money here, cold hard cash. Or for those smooth modern people, texting, turning your lightsaber phone into a money-giving thing by texting the number. Not quite yet, on the screen. And then there are checks for the rest of you. Where will the money go, you ask? Well, it will go to the Living Tradition Fund. This is a fund that supports ministers who are struggling, retired ministers, ministers on a fixed income, ministers whose families suffer financial danger due to medical costs, and even seminarians who are facing challenges. Or the money could go to the Mexican border program of the American Friends Service Committee. They partner with us in our work for immigrant justice. They advance the human rights and self-determination of migrant communities through organizing, advocacy, and documenting human rights abuses. But why should you have to choose? If you were going to give 25 to the minister's discretionary fund, great, but then give also 25 to the U.S.-Mexican border program, and everyone's a winner. Thank you so much for your generosity. It is already being received.
Reverend Kristen asked me to give the charge to the congregation. And it's natural to wonder when you are giving or receiving such a charge, what else is there left to say? You and I, one of the members of the First Unitarian Church of San Diego, have agreed to share your thoughts and opinions honestly, and to listen with honesty as well. You've agreed to share the ministries of this church and to work together for justice. You've agreed to give and receive grace in difficult times and to be willing to be challenged by Reverend Kristen's ministry. And you've agreed to honor Reverend Kristen's authentic self so that she can bring that authentic self to this congregation and to the world. So perhaps the charge to the congregation should simply be, go and do those things. Honor your covenant. And in some sense, yes, that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Thanks. And yet, I predict that for this congregation and for each of you as individual members of it, there will come a time when it won't seem easy. When a tough decision will have to be made, and when you might disagree with Reverend Kristen's opinions on the subject. A time when she preaches her truth from this pulpit and you disagree. A time when her own sense of personal and professional ethics guides her on a path in a way that may not make sense to you right away. My friends, my fellow congregants, it is in those moments that the covenant you have agreed to finds its meaning. It is in those moments when you are frustrated, when you are tempted to just walk away, that you have a chance to build a stronger relationship with Reverend Kristen and with this congregation. Because the truth, the deeper truth behind the words of your covenant is that we are in this together. You know, this congregation produces a lot of ministers. When I first started seminary more than a decade ago, I was one of at least 6 congregants and staff members who were in seminary at the same time. And one of them was Reverend Kristen. Maybe it's something in the water. Or maybe it's something about how this community lives honestly, if imperfectly, into its covenants. We make mistakes, and we work to correct them. And perhaps afterwards, when we're enjoying the dancing and ice cream, you can ask Reverend Justine her opinions on that as our developmental minister. But there's an idea, going back at least to the Gospel of Mark, that a prophet is honored everywhere except their own house, the place where they come from. And Reverend Kristen, as you have heard, first heard her call to ministry while employed here. And many of you know her from that time. But I think that part of our job is to prove the adage wrong. I think that we can honor her in her own house. We can use that common history, those shared roots, to help deepen the relationship that we as a congregation have with her. And so, my charge to you and my blessing is this. Remember the covenant you have made. Remember the roots that we share. For in honoring them, we will thrive like the three sisters in the garden. And there is no other way.
The giving of gifts is as old a tradition as humanity itself. We know that our earliest ancestors exchanged small tokens of their trust, their love, and their desire for meaningful, beneficial, and sometimes even restorative relationships. Today, we renew this ritual that is so much more than mere ritual as we thank Reverend Kristen and signal our faith in her and in this community. And so we have gifts from you, the community, for her, beginning with one from created by Valerie Jaquez, and it is a beautiful handmade stole. And then we have something that is not just for Kristen, but for her family as well. It is a gift certificate for a family stay at the Tucker Peak Lodge near Julian, with our compliments.
Oh, how beautiful. And someone must have tipped you off because the Tucker Peak Lodge is our favorite place in Julian. So, how wonderful. So I also have a gift in exchange. There are two things here. So one is a whole bunch of gardening supplies, some dirt, some shovels, some good pruners, some watering cans. And this is to really help our peace garden thrive. We have a small garden that's a multi-generational project. And my hope is that these tools will serve us for a long time to create beauty and nourishment for our community. Now, you all may know we have two campuses, and the Peace Garden is on our Hillcrest campus. And so I wanted to make sure that our South Bay campus receives some love as well. And so, Susanna, would you open this on behalf of South Bay? So this is a piece of fabric art made by a UU artist, Peg Green. As many people know, we made a move this year into St. John's, where we're a shared home. And we're always really trying to figure out how do we bring a part of our faith and those symbols into the space. And so this will be for the pulpit.
My soul cries out with a joyful shout that the God of my birth is great. And my spirit sings of wondrous things to the ones that you bring and wait. You fixed your sight on your servant's plight, and the weakness you did not spurn. So from east to west shall my name be blessed, that the world be about to turn.
My heart shall sing of the day you bring. Let the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near, and the world is about to turn.
Though I am small with God my all, you work great things in me. And your mercy will last from the depths of the past to the end of the age to be. Your very name puts the proud to shame, to those who would for you yearn. You will show your might, put the strong to fight, for the world is about to turn.
My heart shall sing of the day you bring. Let the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near, and the world is about to turn.
From the halls of power to the fortress tower, not a stone will be left on stone. Let the king beware, for your justice tears every tyrant from his throne. The hungry poor shall weep no more, for the food they can never earn. There are tables spread, every mouth be fed, for the world is about to turn.
My heart shall sing on the day you bring. Let the fires of justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near, and the world is about to turn.
Though the nations rage from age to age, we remember who holds us fast. God's mercy must deliver us from the conqueror's crushing grasp. This saving word that our forebears heard is the promise that holds us bound, till the spear and rod can be crushed by God, who is turning the world around. My heart shall sing on the day you bring. Let the fires of justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near, and the world is about to turn. My heart shall sing on the day you bring. Let the fires of justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near, and the world is about to turn.
Anna is going to join me too. Would you like to go first, Susanna?
I'm Susanna. I'm the rector, or the priest in charge at St. John's, and it is on behalf of the people there that we joyously welcome someone we already know as your permanent new minister. As we both stand on the land of the Kumeyaay people, our congregations share a deep love and connection of the community around us, supporting them through prayer, through worship, and in your case, through an enormous pantry where your clients can come and go home with food for their journeys. We are so happy to be partners in ministry with her and the South Bay congregation of this church. And we look forward to a long relationship with all of you. I'm not done. I'm going to do a blessing, and I'm going to ask for us to pray in thanksgiving for this day and for this call. Spirit divine, lover of all, source of all love, we have gathered today to celebrate your daughter, our pastor and friend, and her gifts to this community. Let that light of love surround her, leading her to a deeper and fully integrated life of compassion, trust, and justice. Let Kristen's energy and goodness guide her and her congregation to a fullness of life and service. And when day is done, let her rest in the spirit of gentle calmness, falling into the arms of her beloved family and friends. And because you know I am who I am, I will ask for God's blessing on her and her ministry as she continues to walk and grow in this journey of faith.
Like Everett, I'm left with the feeling that there's not much left to say, but that hardly ever stops me. I was remembering some years ago, Dale and I were at the 30th wedding anniversary celebration of some friends of ours, and they had just had their first grandchild, and I was newly in ministry. And our friend Michelle came up to me kind of conspiratorially and said, Justine, my kids don't want to baptize my granddaughter. Would you do that for me on the sly? I know, right? And I said, well, first of all, I would never, ever do that. And second of all, you know, in my faith tradition, we don't believe in a baptism to bless a child because we believe that the child is already a blessing. And she said, oh, that will do. So I bring that same spirit to you, Kristen, as I embark on blessing this ministry. You already are a blessing to our faith, to this community, and certainly to me as a colleague and beloved friend. So I wish you continued energy and commitment and all the good advice that you've gotten about remembering what it was that sparked that sense of, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Hold on to that on the days when you feel weary, and remember that you are already a blessing to this ministry.
I don't know about you, but my heart is just overflowing with love and with joy. And so now all there is to do is to go forth and to dance and to eat ice cream and to celebrate with one another. So let us go forth in love and joy and celebration. Blessed be.
I invite you to remain standing in body or spirit and join me in singing Fire of Commitment.